Good afternoon, gentlemen. I had wanted to put together a takeaway sheet, something that just recaps everything we talked about, what the asks were, what the solutions were, what the sound bites were. And when I went to start typing, I thought, this is way more fun. So I recorded a video. I've had some time to mijote, as hopefully you have as well. And I came up with a couple of solutions I wanted to throw into the pot. And I'm hoping that some of you have for one another too, and that we can stay connected and keep the learning going. So for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to keep this one really short, and I'll share some of the solutions in upcoming videos. So this is really a recap of what the asks were, what some of the key points were, and we'll go from there. So most of us agreed that we're not leveraging the people that we know. We're not telling the people that are closest to us what we do so that they can then refer us business. And there were two primary reasons. Ted's reason was if his mother gives him a lead, it's going to be a waste of his time. Everybody else pretty much felt that the reason they don't do that is because they're afraid of coming across as pushy, being that guy who's always talking business, always pitching, and never knows how to turn off. And so I have some ideas around that I'll share in an upcoming video. The biggest aha there was that's how Andre built his business. So he's doing that very, for lack of a better word, because I hate this buzzword, organically. And so he's built his business based on telling people around him what he does. So Andre, that's a strength that you have that I'd welcome you share a little bit more with the group. Andre's ask was knowing when he's ready to hire somebody. So as Ted aptly put, Andre has 100% growth this year, congratulations. And so we talked about when do you hire and who do you hire and how do you hire? What do you hire for? Is it a VA? Is it an admin in the office? Is it someone in sales? Is it a tech? And that led into the conversation that Jimmy had, which was once we hire them, how do we keep them? And that was a recurring theme, not only in our mastermind, but in every session apparently. Employee retention is a big thing. And what I jotted down on day 2, I really liked that Jeremy shared, don't always be thinking money. Think of ways to surprise someone. I worked with Mercedes and that's totally their MO for customer experience. Surprise me with something I don't expect. In one of my masterminds, we came up with a definition. Customer service is giving what they expect. Customer experience is giving people what they don't expect. So I love Jeremy's idea of offering people a $20 gift card to say thanks for doing what you do, employees. So that was a great takeaway. I appreciate that. I also love whoever coined the phrase, and I didn't write down who said it, but I loved it. Super you is better than 3 employees. So being constantly mindful of not using your time on one of those 2 little buckets and really leveraging the strategy, etc., and doing what you do really well most often. So not wasting your time on penny tasks when you could be doing dollar tasks. Ushe's is going to be 3 videos. Because it was all around storytelling. And the takeaway I loved was Ted's hashtag idea. So the idea of having 6 different hashtags, each with a different name, and they are all pre-crafted stories that lead to a call to action. So if you remember, he did hashtag 67 Mustang. And I love that idea. I also want permission to use it, Ted. Because the idea is that you craft those stories. And I have a couple of really cool ideas around crafting. One that we talked about in the session was why, how, when. I think it was when. One of the ones I'm familiar is what, how, now. And the one I just learned, I'm at a conference at Harbor Castle, and she just shared SOAR, S-O-A-R, as an acronym for solution, obstacle, action, result, SOAR. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that when I unpack this one. Ushe, I told you about Toast of London. It doesn't exist anymore. I spoke to the founder, Paula, and she's put it on hold because she was doing a book tour overseas. Mo Mondays is probably your best bet, and that's something I'll put out to anybody. Most of the cities across Canada, I used to host Montreal, have Mo Mondays, MOMONDAYS.com. And they're storytelling in a dinner theater style setting. So I used to have about 6 or 7 people per night share their stories. And it's a great opportunity to listen to stories so that you can start to find your theme in it, find your style, find your voice. If you listen to enough of them, you'll learn what you love and what really turns you off that isn't your style. So that's something you might want to consider. We'll talk about a couple of approaches to storytelling going forward. The next two, Andrew and Ted, you both talked about the ask was new business acquisition. So new channels to serve small business and new customers in any way that we can. What we came up with that day as a solution was start telling the people that are closest to us what we do and leveraging happy customers by getting referrals. So asking people the who story, right? Who do you know who has a similar problem as yours, who might need my services? And doing that with every happy customer that we have. I have another idea on that I'll share going forward. I had to look up paradiddle. That was in my notes too. Thank you. It's what I do on my steering wheel all the way down the highway, most mornings. Ted, I have a question. You mentioned that you roadmap for free. I'd be really curious, and I think the other guys would as well, to the process that you follow. I personally want to know the questions that you ask because I think that you're very strategic in your questioning, and I think that those questions are portable into what I do with my clients. So I'm curious about the questions you ask. I think the guys will be curious about the process that you follow and how do you turn that, how do you leverage that into business? What do you do that's worked? What have you done that doesn't work? So you can save us all some time. What else do I have on my sheet? Andrew, I don't know why I wrote this down, but maybe you can explain it to me. You can't manage what you don't measure. And CSuite Event. It seems to me that you're responsible for hosting a CSuite event. So reach out to me. I'm connected to Canadian Association of Professional Speakers. I can probably find you the ideal fit for somebody who's local. Okay. Ted, I love the phrase you coined. You're welcome to steal my staff. It's just going to cost you $65K for recruiting. I am totally going to swipe that. I thought it was awesome. And that brings me to the end. That's kind of a recap of everything we talked about, some of the solutions we came up with. And now that I've had a chance to digest that and stew on it a little, I have some suggestions going forward. So I guess my next question is, how do you want to do that? Have you guys talked about how you want to meet? Is it formal? Is it informal? Is it in person, on screen? Is it by phone? What do you want to do? Do you want to do anything at all? And what would that look like? So I hope you'll keep me in the loop because I'd love to be a part of it and grow with you. Jimmy, I'm really excited because I know that you were meeting with your, branding firm coming up. So I think that's going to be really exciting for you because that's all part of the process that we talked about. So next time we meet, what I'd love to talk about is what are the strengths that make you unique in terms of a positioning statement, in terms of storytelling structure, and how do you leverage that? Again, I was in one of the sessions that the conference, I'm only speaking tomorrow, so I'm taking advantage of all the sessions I can do today. And one of the sessions I was in identifying exactly that. How do you network strategically? How do you leverage your success without being that pushy guy? So more on that coming up. In the meantime, it was a sincere pleasure to meet every one of you, and I really appreciated your generosity of spirit, the fact that you kept our what gets shared in Vegas stays in Vegas, and that you were willing to support one another. That's the magic of a mastermind, and it was absolute pleasure to watch. Take care, be well, and stay connected. Bye.